This place looks totally awesome!
I hear this is a recreation of how the city looked long ago.
It's like we're in a movie.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast and channel, Paws On Animation.
Today's podcast, we're covering the Pokemon movie, the Arceus Chronicles, which is possibly the last Pokemon movie.
Yes, and it's taken us a while to get to it, too.
Yeah.
So taking place sometime in the Journey saga, Ash, Go, and Dawn, and Brock
Yes.
must work together to stop a monstrous and mutated Pokemon from encasing an island from hot lava and stop Team Galactic, voiced by Team Rocket.
Yeah. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification for this future podcast and all the Paws videos.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much for subscribing and joining us and for sharing our videos. Thank you so much.
Yes. So, yes, it took us a while to get to this movie because not only were we trying to get through that particular part of the Journey's season, and it was taking us a while. Movie, we didn't know when it was taking place. It was after a certain season, so we had to wait. And we watched it once, but actually forgot to do a video for it, so we had to do a sort of revisited thing. And we were kind of whelmed with the film. And it's only an hour and 4 minutes. We were expecting like one of the 90-minute movies they've been having in the past. But all the Pokemon movies have now gone to Netflix. I think after the Mewtwo remake, all the Pokemon movies now go straight to Netflix. They did it with Secrets of the Jungle, they did it with the Mewtwo remake, and now they've done it with Arceus. So unfortunately, it kind of affected the quality of the movie because it didn't feel like you were watching a Pokemon movie.
And that's because another reason is this movie was actually based on the 2022 role-playing game.
Oh, really?
Developed by Game Freak. And yes, in this game, I think Dawn is in it, not Go. And I guess for the movie, they threw one new character and two characters we were familiar with into the movie.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense because the cast they have here normally is like everyone works together and teamwork to stop the evil. And here it seems like they just kind of picked who could do something in here, which is weird out of 4 of them plus Pikachu. And not that you didn't want to see Brock or Dawn, still have seen them again. It just they felt a little out of place in here. But except for Dawn, who like you said is in the game, but it felt a little off for a Pokemon movie, especially not only is it not that long, it felt like they were trying to extend the events of the film. Like, it felt like it was an episode. Like it was a 1 or 2 part episode, and then they tried to stretch it out as much as they could, and they could only make it slightly over an hour.
Now also keep in mind, and I'm not sure if you know, and if not, I'm very surprised, Arceus, this movie, is based on the 2009 movie.
Yes.
Yeah, The Jewel of Life.
Right.
It had Dawn, and it had Brock, and it had actual Team Rocket.
You're right. I do remember seeing that.
But it didn't have Go, because Go wasn't a character, so they kind of just remade the movie, added Go,
and made it shorter. Yeah. And you're right, because it feels like, you think about it, it's sort of deja vu, which is what happened with that Mewtwo remake, where it was just a straight up recreation of the movie, just done in 3D, and there was really no purpose to it. And again, that kind of affected the quality of it. We kind of thought they would do something new, and they didn't. I mean, it was interesting to see Arceus again after all this time, but the way it was set up, it was like an event for this particular Pokemon. And it doesn't really come in. It has a part in the beginning and a part at the end when they defeat the monster. And it's really odd because the way it's been built up, it's like when you see your Christmas Chronicles or the AOT Chronicles or something, you're hearing about, or Bane Chronicles, you're hearing about the events that correspond with the character that were the highlights or the biggest events of the character's life. Here, he was barely in it. So it feels like you're not seeing a chronicle, I'm seeing the footnote.
Yeah, and at least it was a little familiar because it looked just like Ultimate Journey. It's the same animation.
Yeah, true.
And as you mentioned, it was great to see some of our old favorites.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I expected something different.
Yeah,
I wanted something different. And all I could focus on at first were those hideous outfits.
I'm sorry. How dare you? And speaking of that, another thing they also redid, as you said, would be Team Galactic.
Yes.
And they do establish that this is the second time they're doing this because the first guy who led Team Galactic got taken away to another dimension, never saw him again. They were trying to use Arceus to really rule over reality itself. It's like, how are you going to do that? And he failed, and these people are trying to do it again. Oh, he failed, well, we'll try to find him and we'll get it right this time. No, you actually unleashed heck on Earth. Thanks a lot. And it's even more hilarious is that Team Rocket is completely absent from the movie. How dare they? But I guess they want to prepare us for what was to come. But it was funny because
you knew it was Jesse and James as soon as the guy opened his mouth and said, "That's James."
Yeah. And one had blue hair, one had pink hair. One had gold hair, I guess that was Meow. And it was like, it's Team Rocket, but not Team Rocket.
Right. And it's, it was just no mistaking the voice actor for James.
I guess they thought they were doing it differently by not having Team Rocket, but putting in Team Galactic, even though it's the same people doing the voices. And there are still some events that do happen. Of course, they're gonna win in the end. But like I said, it kind of just keeps going. And it's not like it drags. It doesn't feel like it drags a lot. It just feels like you're not seeing a Pokemon movie. And part of it isn't even the fault of the length of the movie because they did the sort of Justice movie with Vic Mignogna as the main Pokemon. And that was actually entertaining, not just because he was in it, but it was a very entertaining movie.
Sure, because he was in it.
It was short. It was only an hour and 15 minutes. It was much shorter than the other movies, but it was still entertaining and engaging. Here, it feels like there wasn't a whole lot going on. That movie had 2 to 3 plots going on in a quick amount of time. Here, it's just this one thing, which I guess is good. They're not trying to jumble too many things, but it's just them trying to stop it, and they fail, they do it again, and they fail, and they do it again, and they fail. And it's just that particular loop. Then they finally decided to split up and try all these different ways to stop it. And it felt like if they had just done that first, it would have been finished sooner, but then it wouldn't be a movie.
I think what was weird, 2 things, is one, they call it the Arceus Chronicles. It was less than an hour.
Yeah,
It's not another one planned.
Right.
So
it's
how's
like
a Chronicles?
I guess it sounded cool. Is it based off a game with that title?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's why.
And then they kept going with the opening gates between dimensions. And I just got kind of tired after a little bit. It's like, what in the heck is going on?
Yeah, it started to blur lines between Pokemon and being something else entirely. And we do know, yes, this Arceus is supposed to be the sort of creator of all the Pokemon in their universe.
Very powerful.
But, I don't know, they kind of toned it down to a bit where he's not really doing that much in the movie. Like I said, he comes up at the beginning when they're trying to warn him that something's going on Earth. And then he comes in at the end when the stuff's pretty much near solved. So it felt like they kind of missed out on doing what they did the first movie, where it was really involved, and Ash actually formed a bond with the almost ultimate powerful Pokemon, and they didn't do anything to that level of him reaching that existential part.
Then we had Cynthia, and she was responsible for those hideous outfits. I forgot.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was the only gym leader in the entire movie.
Yeah, and that was strange too. So, as far as the Pokemon movies go, and they've had some great ones, to me, this one is further down on the list. It seems like they wanted to just go with it because people are familiar with Arceus. I'm sure there are people familiar with the game, people familiar with the first movie.
Right.
And they just wanted to redo it like they did I Choose You and a couple others.
Right.
And by doing that with this movie, it took something away. It really was unsatisfying.
Yeah.
And again, there have been a lot of Pokemon movies, and the majority of them have been fantastic. This is not one of those movies,
Unfortunately, yeah. But it's alright if someone really, really loves this movie. There's really not anything where it's like, oh, this was horrible, horrendous. It was just like, I would like a little more to happen than just being an extended episode of Pokemon, and that's it. So it's not an egregious movie or terrible by any means. It's just wish they had done a little more, just like they did with the Jewel of Life.
Definitely. So if you've seen Arceus, the Arceus Chronicles,
Your
the
Chronicle
movie, let us know in the comments below. How did you feel about the movie? Sorry guys, I had gum in my mouth. How do you feel about the movie? Did you love it? Did you think it was meh? Or was it not one that you really care for? We really want to know what you think. And if we're missing something as to how it fits in the Pokemon universe of Ash's universe, be sure to explain it to us in the comments below. We appreciate it. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Netflix.
Yes,
again,
exclusively.
It's less than an hour, and you can knock that out. That's like 3 anime episodes.
Right.
And then come back and let us know what you think.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and reviews of your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. Thanks so much again for joining us. If you enjoyed this, be sure to share it. And be sure to follow us on Under Paws Animation on Instagram, Twix, which is what we call Twitter X.
You're right.
And on Pinterest as well.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching Masculine Entertainment.
And Amon Entertainment.
Have a tune-tastic day.
Peace.